Hey guys, this is Rotary Swing instructor Chris Tyler. Patrick Reed pulls out a beautiful victory at the Hyundai Tournament of Champions for 2015, kicking the year off in stylish fashion. So congratulations to Patrick Reed. This week I'm going to talk to you about how Patrick Reed uses the right foot in his downswing to help slam on the brakes with the lower body and have a ton of club head speed. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, this week we're going to be taking a look at Patrick Reed's golf swing, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of really key areas in his move that help him, number one, be able to pull power out of the ground and turn it into club head speed through the release. But I'm also going to show you what's allowing him to be really consistent. And so those of you players that have ever been labeled as hip spinners, you want to pay really close attention to this review because he does one move in his golf swing probably better than 95% of the players that I've seen out on the PGA Tour. And this is a really key move that's going to help you control the speed of the hips through the hitting area. So let's go ahead and get started here. At address, you're going to notice, I'm going to focus in on a few key areas here this week. I'm going to show you how he keeps his hips back. He's also been able to maintain his spine angle throughout most of his entire move here. But at address, he's got his glove logo facing down his target line. And then as we get through the takeaway position here, okay, you're going to notice that he's got his glove logo now facing out in front of him. Also notice how he's been able to maintain spine angle into the takeaway. He's also been able to keep his hips back beautifully. And then you're going to see as he starts to work up into the vertical plane here, you're going to see some gradual rotation of those wrists. Notice how he's also kept his right hip back and maintained spine angle just as he had at address. So for those of you players that have noticed that your spine angle starts to change from where you had it at address up to the top part of your golf swing, double check to make sure that your trail hip has stayed back. If you notice that your trail hip comes forward off of this line, then that in turn can make the spine go more vertical, and that's going to add a very big timing variable to your golf swing that's going to make it very difficult for you to play consistent from one day to the next. We really want the spine angle to stay the same throughout the entire golf swing. We really want to make sure that that's maintained and we're rotating our shoulders perpendicular to that axis. All right, so double check to make sure you keep that trail side hip back. A good way for you to try this out is if you stick your tush up against a wall and you just make some 9-3 swings, just with some small weight shift over to the trail side, swinging out to 9 o'clock. Keep the weight, shift the weight, keep the arms where they are. Go ahead and shift over to the lead side, and then go ahead and swing on through. And try to keep your right tush back all the way through, just lightly as you're starting to swing all the way through 3 o'clock. Now this is just obviously a toned down version and just a different way to think about how to keep the hips back and how to maintain spine angle. But definitely a good little simple drill for you guys to try around the house. Now, those of you that have had a problem with hip spinning, or those of you that have had a hard time understanding how we're going to pull power to the ground, these next few moves are really critical for you to understand. So you're going to see here as Patrick gets in transition, you're going to go ahead and see him sit left. He gets the hips back to a square position here, still keeping the hips back. Now his hands are going to be working down into that same position that he had into the takeaway. And you'll notice that his glove logo is now facing just a fraction more vertical than where it was. Now, really, really important for those of you players, like I said, that are hip spinners, is paying attention to two areas. This right foot and his hips. Okay, so now watch right through these next few frames. These hips are done right here. This is the release point of the golf swing. The hips are not moving at all, and he's still got his right heel down on the ground. Let me get through one more frame here. So, few key areas to take a look at. Take a look at where his glove logo is now facing. It's now facing directly behind him. So it was out in front of him through the takeaway, much like we talk about in the 5 minutes to a perfect release video or the 9-3 drill. We want to always have the wrist kind of rotating through the takeaway, and then into the downward move, there's some gradual rotation. So we use the glove logo out in front of us as a reference point at the 9 o'clock position, and then we use the glove logo behind us at the 3 o'clock position. So double check to make sure that you have that clearly understood how we're trying to get there. Make sure you don't have a lot of tension in the wrist while you're trying to achieve this, because we need to have them relaxed and allow the club to do what it's designed to do, and that's rotate. But more importantly, if you take a look at this right foot, it is still down on the ground. It is allowing him to control the speed of his hips through the hitting area and well after the hitting area. So, and what I mean by this is that if you were to set up in a static address position, and you guys at home can try this out, and you were to shift all your weight over to your lead side, and then go ahead and roll to the inside part of your trail foot, keeping your heel down, and then pull your hips open. Try to pull them open, and you'll notice that you have very limited range of motion, very limited mobility. Then go ahead and lift the trail foot up just a little bit. Notice how you can start to rotate the hips more and more. So we think of the right foot as a braking mechanism for the hips. So what we want to try and do is we want to make sure that we get fully seated over the left side just as he does. We want to post up, and then we want to use the right foot to be able to stall the body out and release the golf club at the proper time and get lots of speed at impact. That's really how you control the speed of the body. So if you've been one of those people that likes to, you've noticed that you're spinning your entire body through the hitting area, then you definitely want to check out the roll of the right foot in the downswing video. That's a great video that Chuck really kind of goes through how we're going to use the right foot properly in the downward move. You also, for those of you players that have been running into problems with having some early extension to your spine, we want to look at the losing the tush line video. And all these videos are going to be to the right of the video player for you guys as recommended videos. And again, you know, one of the most critical areas of the golf swing is always going to be the release. So 5 minutes to a perfect release is a great way to, you know, start off your 2015, making sure that you understand how to control the hitting area, and then get into some good 9-to-3 drills, and then understand how you can use your lower body in the downward move. Not only one, to get things fully shifted, get things posted up, and then obviously you can use your trail foot now to understand that's a braking mechanism, and you can release the golf club with max speed at impact. So I want you guys to try those out, take a look at those videos, and let's get out there and play some great golf this 2015. I wish you all the best. I look forward to working more with you all in the future. Now have a great day. Okay, so those of you that are joining us on our YouTube channel, before I get started with today's analysis, I'm going to go ahead and include a special bonus clip at the end of today's video that's going to teach you how to use your right foot properly in the downward move to help you stall those hips out and put a lot of club head speed at impact. And remember, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below, and if you have any questions or comments, post those up. Let's get started.
Now that we've talked about that sitting into the left side in the downswing and keeping the hips a little bit more square and releasing everything, getting the club to come back down, using our arms to help facilitate that process, we need to add the right foot movement. This is, for some of you, if you do this correctly already, great. A lot of you don't, because what I see as you come into the downswing, this right heel's up off the ground real early and it's moving in this way, and it's getting your hips spinning really fast, and so you're losing the stability and things in the being able to use the ground for leverage, and so you're trying to drive too hard with your hips. So what we want to do at first, when we have that problem, when the right foot's coming up real early and we're spinning the hips, we want to work on keeping that right heel on the ground and rolled slightly in while hitting shots. So basically, what you're looking for is as you come down into impact, this would be an ideal impact here basically with my right foot. Not up off the ground, not moving my knee in. It's going to roll slightly in as I shift my weight, and my right leg is passive, relatively passive here as I sift into it. Now that right heel is rolling in. As the club releases, it continues to roll, and then I can come up to a full finish. So what we want to feel is going to the top of the swing, work on sitting into the left, firing the right arm, and notice how I keep my right foot down until it's pulled up. You want to exaggerate keeping that inside of the right foot down the whole time until your arms are about 9 o'clock. Then you're going to have to come up at that point. But that's a great feeling, is to get here and then let that right heel come up. I'm not saying to keep your right foot flat, we're getting to the inside of it. So notice, if I kept it flat, then I'm going to be hitting balls off my back foot like this. Now I've got a lot of weight back here. The weight is moved to the left, which gets us rolled to the inside of the right foot. The outside of it's coming up off the ground just a little bit. And then as I release the club, it rotates on in.